Buying your first home can be one of the most exciting and overwhelming experiences of your life. It's not just about finding the right home, it's also about understanding how to buy your first home the right way. There's a right way to buy a home, and there's definitely a wrong way to buy a home. And in this video, I'm cutting through all of the noise and breaking down everything that you need to know to purchase your home with confidence. Plus, I will also be covering the biggest mistakes that first-time home buyers actually make. So by the end of this video, you will have the roadmap, the insider knowledge to buy your very first home with confidence and not regret. Hey everyone, my name is Allan Dignard and I'm a local realtor here in the city of Edmonton. And my mission is simple: to help you make smarter real estate decisions by sharing the kind of honest, straight up information I wish I had before buying my very first home. I've spent years studying how the real estate market really works, how lenders think, and what actually matters when you are stepping into your very first home. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button as I post new videos weekly covering the local market here in Edmonton, home buying and selling tips, and what life in Edmonton is really like, so you know whether or not you want to call Edmonton home. All right, so let's get into it. Let's start with something that most people misunderstand right from the very beginning: what it really means to be a first-time home buyer. We have to start with the basics because this one gets misunderstood all of the time. Being a first-time home buyer isn't just about signing your first set of papers. It has a legal definition. And if you've never owned a home, obviously you qualify. But even if you've owned before, the government can still classify you as first-time for certain programs if you haven't owned or lived in a home you've owned within the last 4 years. That rule applies to things like the home buyer's plan and the first home's savings account. But beyond definitions though, being a first-time home buyer is about mindset. You're shifting from renting a place to owning a home, paying for someone else's mortgage to building your own equity. And when you treat your purchase like a business decision instead of an emotional one, you are farther ahead than most people, and you are setting yourself up for long-term success later on. Now that you know what it actually means to be a first-time buyer, let's make sure that your finances are ready to back that up. So before you even start scrolling the listings, you need to get your finances dialed in. This is the foundation. And if it's shaky, everything else becomes so stressful. So we're gonna start with step one, is to get brutally honest about your finances. This is where you wanna write everything down. So your income, your car payments, your credit cards, your subscriptions, any loans, all of it. Lenders use your debt to income ratio to decide how risky you are. As a rule of thumb, your housing costs, so things like your mortgage, your property taxes, and those pesky utilities, should stay below 32% of your gross income, and your total debts that you have under 42%. But remember, what the bank says you can afford and what you should actually buy are two totally different things. If they approve you for $500,000, that's generally your max. You don't want to go out and purchase a home at your max approval rating. That's like going out and getting a credit card and maxing it out on day one. It doesn't make sense. You get where I'm going here with this. What your lender says you can afford is just math, right? It doesn't account for your lifestyle or those unforeseen emergencies that seem to come up. So if you are maxed out with your home purchase, there's little room for mortgage rate increases, emergencies. So many people over leverage themselves. They max out their home purchasing power. And when it comes to renewal time and say the interest rates have actually increased by a couple of percent, they suddenly find themselves having to pay an additional $500 to $800 a month just to cover the difference of the interest rate change. This is how many people lose their homes, and it happens all of the time. So don't ask, what can I qualify for? The better question to ask is, what can I live comfortably with? Especially if things change. That's how you buy a home, protect your investment, and still sleep at night. Step 2 is to know your down payment and your real costs. Once you know your comfort zone and what you are willing to spend, now it's about how to get through the front door. If the home price is $500,000 or less, you'll need a minimum of 5% down. If it's between $500,000 and $1 million, you'll need to put 5% on the first $500,000 and 10% on anything above that. So for example, if you are buying a home at $600,000, that $25,000 on the first $500 and then $10,000 on the remaining $100,000. So $35,000 total for your down payment. And once you cross the $1 million mark, you'll need 20% down. And I don't know too many first-time home buyers, though, who are actually looking to purchase $1 million home. I'm sure they're definitely out there. And if they have $200,000 to put down as a down payment, they may want to look into investing in multiple properties to generate cash flow instead of tying all of that money up into one personal mortgage. But that is a discussion for another time. So if you are putting less than 20% down, your mortgage will be considered a high ratio mortgage, and you will need to be insured by places like CMHC, Sagan, or Canada Guarantee. Remember, this insurance protects the lender, not you, but it's what allows many buyers to get into the real estate market with a smaller down payment. And we can't forget the closing costs. So things like legal fees, a home inspection, title insurance, property tax adjustments, just to name a few. So we have to plan anywhere from 1% to 3% of the purchase price of your home. So on a $400,000 mortgage, that's roughly about $10,000 extra, right? And that's not pocket change. So here's the key. Get clear on your monthly comfort zone first. Then plan your down payment and your closing cost second. When those two numbers make sense together, you're ready to move to the next phase, your financing strategy. Now that you've got your financial foundation, let's talk about the step that most people misunderstand: the difference between pre-qualified and being pre-approved. They sound similar, but they're worlds apart. Pre-qualification is just a quick estimate. You share some rough numbers, your income, your debts, maybe some of your savings, and then the lender tells you what you might be able to qualify for. There's no documents, there's no credit check. It's useful and can give you a rough estimate, but it's not guaranteed. Now, pre-approval, this is the real deal. With a pre-approval, you actually provide your lender actual documents. So things like pay stubs, T4s, all of your outstanding debt, cost of all of your current living expenses, and the lender verifies everything. They pull your credit history, and if it's approved, they will issue you a written confirmation letter of how much you actually can borrow and at what rate. That matters because it locks in your interest rate for 120 days, but it also shows the sellers that you're serious, and it lets you shop with confidence instead of just guessing. A lot of buyers actually stop at the pre-qualification stage and they think they're ready to go. And then when it comes time to close the deal, they lose their dream home when their financing falls through. So don't make that mistake. Always get a pre-approval. And here's an important thing. Once you do, protect it. So don't go out and get a new loan or get a new credit card. Now's not the time to go purchase that new vehicle or put that vacation on your credit card. Essentially, no big purchases or changes in your finances. Your approval is based on a snapshot of your current finances. And if you change that picture, you risk losing that pre-approval. This one is easily overlooked by so many, and they usually don't find out until it's too late. So I can't stress this enough. Finally, make sure that you shop around. Your bank isn't your only option. A mortgage broker, for example, can access dozens of lenders, and that 0.25% difference in rates can actually save you thousands of dollars over your mortgage term. So remember, pre-qualification is just a conversation and it does not guarantee anything. Pre-approval is actual confirmation, and confirmation is what gets you the keys. Now that your financing is solid, let's get into the exciting part: house hunting, looking for a home. House hunting is exciting, but it's also where logic often kind of takes a back seat to emotion. Buyers walk into a show home and they smell the fresh paint and they totally forget their budget. Don't buy the dream, buy the numbers. This is where having a trusted realtor can help keep your interest protected and to help separate reality from those emotions. Buying a home is it's very emotional and it's easy to just get off course, especially if the market is a seller's market and homes are moving fast. The fear of missing out, that FOMO, becomes very real, and a great realtor will help you make logical decisions, not emotional ones. So start with getting some lifestyle clarity. How long do you want your commute to be? Do you need schools or green spaces nearby? Are you drawn to quiet suburbs or walkable central areas? Edmonton's huge, and every pocket of the city offers something different. So once you've narrowed down the area you want to live in, decide what type of property fits your life right now. A detached home gives you that full control, but also that full responsibility and all of the maintenance, that all falls on you. A duplex or a townhome, this is like the middle of the ground, often newer, maybe some lower maintenance, and generally more affordable than detached homes. Keep in mind though, that townhomes, they generally come with additional condo fees that need to be added to your monthly expenses. And then we have condos, right? The simplest entry point to home ownership. Similar to townhomes, you're gonna pay monthly fees and share decisions with a condo board, but exterior work, landscaping, and snow removal are already handled for you, so that's taken off your plate. The easiest way to remember the difference between a condo and a townhome is that condos, you will generally have someone living on 3 or maybe all 4 sides of you. So think of it like maybe in an apartment complex. Whereas with a townhome, you have people living on each side of you, generally not somebody above you or below you, like living in an apartment complex. So ask yourself, do you want control, balance, or simplicity? Once you know that, the right property type becomes clear. Now, once you find a place you love and your offer is accepted, that's when the real due diligence begins. Your offer being accepted is a huge step, but don't get comfortable quite yet. This is where smart buyers protect themselves. We start with a home inspection. Never skip this. A qualified home inspector checks things like the roof, the foundation, make sure your electrical is up to date, plumbing, your furnace, your attic, maybe your grading, everything that you can't see when you're reviewing the home. They identify what's urgent and what's maybe coming down the pipe. If the furnace is near the end of its life, or maybe the shingles need replacing and they're shot, that's negotiation power, or maybe your cue to walk away from the deal. So with that, we got to talk about conditions. Think of these conditions as your safety net. I'm going to go over 2 conditions that should be part of every deal, and a third condition based on the type of home that you are buying. So first, the financing condition. This gives your lender time to finalize your approval. Even if you have a pre-approval, still have this condition in place. You never know if the home appraisal doesn't go well and the lender won't finance the property that you love because maybe they deem it too risky. If you don't have a financing condition in place and the lender won't approve the mortgage, you may legally be on the hook to purchase the property that you can't get a mortgage for. This can get messy really quick. So always, I repeat, always have a financing condition in place. It is your ultimate safety net. If the terms change, you can always step away. The next condition is the home inspection condition. This lets you renegotiate or back out of the deal if major issues show up. There may be some hidden issues that you didn't see on the viewing but are caught on the home inspection. Buying a home to find out maybe months later that there's a crack in the foundation and that the basement leaks will definitely ruin your day. Ultimately, the seller should disclose defects like that if they know about them. But sometimes that foundation has never leaked until the spring that you bought the home. So again, I can't stress this enough. Get a home inspection done. Spending a few $100s now on a home inspection can literally save you thousands of dollars later on. So don't skip this condition. And next up, this condition is if you are buying a condo or a townhome, and a lot of people miss this, a condo document review. A condo document review reveals things like the building's financial health, the reserve fund held by the board, and any meeting minutes. And it also has any upcoming special assessments that are coming due. You want to make sure the condo board is financially healthy and that you are not walking into a financial commitment that you weren't aware of. So make sure to have these documents reviewed by a professional like a lawyer before waiving these conditions. Don't waive any of these conditions to win an offer unless you fully understand the risks that you are getting into. Conditions aren't a bad thing. They're there to protect the buyer and the seller. So don't waive any of the conditions until you are 100% certain. Conditions are your safety net, so use them. There are many other conditions that can definitely be put into place, but these are the crucial ones, the ones that should be, in my opinion, part of every single home purchase. So now that you understand the conditions and they have been waived, we have some final checks. Your lawyer is going to handle the title transfer, confirm taxes and utilities are settled, and ensures that there's no liens on the property. So before possession, this is important, do a final walkthrough. Confirm everything that is in the contract is still there. So things like appliances, fixtures, blinds, and that the property is in the same condition as when you actually signed the papers. Doing your due diligence isn't glamorous, but it's what separates a good purchase from a complete disaster. Now, once you close and you actually get the keys, that's when the real education starts. Hooray, you did it! You were finally officially a homeowner. But buying the home was just the beginning. Now you've got to run it like a business because that's what smart homeowners do. We have to budget for the real costs. You've handled your mortgage, but now comes things like property tax, homeowners insurance, utilities, and ongoing maintenance. There's a rule of thumb that says plan to save 1% of your home's value per year for upkeep. So that's $4,500 on a $450,000 home. So we have to think like an investor here. Even if this is your forever home, we have to approach it with an investor type mindset, right? So you have to manage your books. You have to know what your actual costs are. Are you able to accelerate your payments to pay down your mortgage faster? Could you refinance later to maybe fund your next property if you're looking at purchasing other properties? The people who win in real estate don't think in months, they think in decades. Protect your investment, stay on top of maintenance, keep those receipts, track your upgrades. These records matter not only for insurance, but resale and refinancing. And if you own a condo, read the meeting minutes. Know where your fees are going. You've worked hard to buy your home. Now make it actually start working for you. So before we wrap up, let's talk about the most common mistakes first-time buyers make and how to avoid every single one of them. The traps that I see again and again are buying at the top of your approval. You might qualify for it, but that doesn't mean it's smart. Leave breathing room for emergencies. Number 2 is skipping the home inspection. Saving $500 now can cost you thousands of dollars later. Ignoring your location. You can paint a wall, remodel a kitchen, but you can't move a neighborhood. So make sure you're choosing the right one. Number 4 is letting emotions take over. Competing to win feels good until those payments hit. Number 5 is not having your own realtor. Remember, the listing agent represents the seller, not you. You need someone fighting for you, protecting you, and helping you get the best deal possible. Having a realtor representing you in the home buying process is crucial. Number 6 is forgetting the long game. Remember, guys, real estate rewards patience. So don't panic if your dream home sells. There will be others. Don't rush into this process. Take your time, be patient, but also be prepared. Every mistake that I just listed has one thing in common. It comes from rushing the process instead of being prepared for it. Buying your first home isn't just a transaction, it's a transformation. You're shifting from renter to owner, from uncertainty to control, from someone hoping for stability to someone who's actually creating it. And if you take what you've learned in this video and you apply it, you'll look back a few years from now and realize this wasn't just about buying a home. It was about building the foundation for your future and protecting it. So if this video helped you and you found it valuable, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. And maybe share it with somebody that you know who's actually thinking about buying their first home or their next home. And if you are ready to purchase your home and are looking for a professional realtor to look out for your best interest, all of my contact information is down in the description below. I'm Allan Dignard, your local Edmonton realtor, helping you buy smarter, not harder. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.